Shahrukh, can you describe what it was like to be given an honorary degree, the atmosphere, and what you felt?
Um, I was forewarned that I should be very formal, but I was very nervous, so I was very formal. Uh, but you know, I keep joking, and I was just saying it to someone outside that I've always joked about. I like getting awards and trophies, and I rush them to my kids' bedside and keep it there for them. But you know, an honor like this is least expected, and it makes you think back upon the journey that you've had and got you to the place where you are. And you realize that there's a great pride in the work I've done, and at the same time you realize it's not an individual endeavor at all. It's actually because of hundreds of people putting a huge amount of hard work into making me who I am, my colleagues, co-actors, co-workers, my family. And I'm just the face of it. So it's extremely, extremely humbling to actually take the onus upon yourself and receive an honor like this, a doctorate, which I can just about pronounce, the degree of Honoris Causa. You know, and so I take it on behalf of all the people who've been behind this success or recognition. I cannot make it individualistic about myself. And it's, like I said, it's extremely, extremely humbling, and also makes you realize maybe you need to work harder than you are to actually deserve this, in retrospect at least, if not now.
Is it okay?
I can say two more lines.
Yeah. Hi, Dr. Shahrukh, and Nital Parekh from BBC Radio Lancashire. First of all, you look absolutely gorgeous. Sorry, I just had to mention that. You've often said that you never anticipated this tremendous amount of success. And in an interview many, many years ago, you said that you love acting because you don't like being Shahrukh, or you don't know who Shahrukh is. Now, years on, have you managed to find out who Shahrukh is, and if so, what defines the Shahrukh Khan?
I don't know. I didn't mean it that I just feel a lot of people say, you know, when they turn into actors, that actors and stars are people who love themselves tremendously. They're self-obsessed. And it's contrary to the thought. It's strange to think like that, because if I loved myself so much, I wouldn't want to be someone else in the morning. I wouldn't want to be Rahul or Raj or whatever I do. I think actors are actually quite not in love with themselves. So that's what I meant when I said that. But over the years, the line between who I must be personally and what I am as a performer or an entertainer has blurred. I don't know where is the difference. Maybe the only time, I don't know if I'm just an actor or I'm acting all the time. It's very difficult to say. You know, when 18 hours a day, all the time, you wear makeup and you're doing characters and you're doing lines, you kind of become very quiet from the inside. I find myself becoming more reclusive and quiet because I know less and less of myself. The only time I find myself being who I am is when I'm with my kids. I find that very real. I find that, even then I'm very quiet now, but it's extremely real. So if you were to ask me who the real Shahrukh Khan is, so I think it's doctor is sexy, but father is sexier. So I'm Father Shahrukh Khan, yeah.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good
Hi
afternoon,
there.
ma'am.
Jennifer Harold from Scottish
How are you?
Television. Hello. About 20 plus Bollywood films have been filmed in Scotland over the last couple of decades. You yourself have filmed here. I wonder what you think makes Scotland a good backdrop for a Bollywood movie, and whether you enjoyed filming here.
Oh, I really enjoyed the song we did here. Is perhaps one of the most famous songs ever done in the last 20 years. Yeah, even if I'm saying so, I just happen to be in it. Kuch Kuch Hota Hai. And it was fantastic. We just came here by chance, actually, because we were told by our producer, the late Mr. Yash Johar, that, you know, it's a very pretty place, and of course Sean Connery's from here, so we should all go there. But it was extremely, you know, we normally go down to Switzerland, we go down to more European sides and films. But coming here was an extremely, and we felt bad that we didn't come here for a longer period and shoot other stuff. We just had a song to shoot. And 10 days ago, I was with Karan Johar in London, and I was telling him I'm going to Edinburgh, and he said, you know, bhai, we should go and shoot in Scotland again. And I very nearly did for my next film. I think the first consideration that film people have for coming and filming in a new country or a city is the production part of it. And even in 1998 when we came, I think it was extremely easy to work here, impeccable production. And it was in the Highlands, I think, somewhere. But even the hotels, and these are the small logistic issues first film people have. They come with a unit of 100, 200, so I'm just saying that. But in terms of beauty, I mean, nobody needs to even mention it. It's fantastic to look at. It's beautiful, the Highlands, the cities. I've not seen too much of it, but it's so extremely quaint and cozy and so wonderful. And an extreme amount of character. They're not just buildings, I think. I don't know which part I passed coming from the airport. And there were these houses, or I think they were offices. Hardly looked like offices. They looked really, they had a huge amount of character. So I think it's an amazing place to come and shoot. And I hope a lot of people, not just from India, I think all over the world should come and shoot here. I most certainly will. I would like to come and shoot here for sure. And now I'm a doctor from Edinburgh, so
Hi, I'm Akif Hassan from Awaz FM.
Hi.
It was just a couple of things. First off, one of the charities we work with has sent a gift for you, so we'd like to pass that over, maybe get a picture before you leave afterwards.
Okay.
Just before you leave. The other thing is that, just wondering, every time you do a film, are you actively trying to beat your performance from your last one, or do you find other actors as competition, or do you just do your own thing? What kind of motivates you in that respect?
I because of how people now have access to writing about things, acting is not a competitive field at all. It's not about competing. It's you don't compete with feelings. I can't turn around and say, my feelings deserve an Oscar and yours don't. Acting is very internal. Acting is an art. So I don't know how to say when people think, and now people write so much. This is number one, this is number two. And having been at the top of the game for the last 25 years, and I say so humbly, I'm not really the cause of it. Things have happened good for me. It's never been a consideration, am I going to beat my next performance? Late Mr. Raj Kapoor once said, they asked him, I remember seeing this interview many years ago on a Simi Grewal show or something, or she was doing a documentary, and then he says, which is your favorite film? Which is the film that you love the most? And he said, Mera Naam Joker, and which perhaps had not performed at the box office or competed equally well with the other films. And she said, why is that? He says, the feeling in the child which is less fortunate, and the feeling that you have for the child who's less fortunate is much more than feeling for the child which has succeeded. And to me, acting is like that. I feel for the ones which have gone wrong. I feel for the ones more where I've not been able to compete with others, including my last performance. So it's never about competition. It's not about, I'm going to better this. You can't better acting. There is no good acting. There is no bad acting. You just feel things and you do them. So I've never thought of it. But yeah, in the real world right now, there's a lot of competition about everything. There's number one, there's 100 crores, there's 200 crores. So as a businessman, the company we run, I'm sure they look after it. And yes, every time we release a film, we like to be up there on the numbers. But personally, as an actor, I've never been a producer. I don't even produce my films. My company does. As an actor, I've never thought of this, given thought to it or worried about it.
Tahmina Muhammad from Radio Ramanad Edinburgh Community Radio. My question is more, now that you're a doctor, is around the fact that the Bollywood media industry is huge and it has such an influence on its audience. Do you think there's some way or responsibility for them to take up issues like, religious intolerance or, female sort of harassment cases that are happening? Should they kind of address that and try and educate its audience?
Are you talking through films?
Yes.
See, in an ideal world, yeah, we would do that. But like, the gentleman asked before you, it's an industry, so I'll be very honest and upfront. I mean, I would say, I could answer this and say, yes, people are making moves into that, and yes, there should be socially relevant films, and there should be films about causes. And yes, there are, 100%. And there are some extremely controversial ones, and it takes a lot of guts to be able to do stuff like that. But in popular cinema, I think it is difficult to marry the two, to take a social cause. Swades may work, but Swades also wasn't a hugely commercial successful film. Chak De was one of them, where you could talk about women empowerment indirectly through a sporting event or a film. But directly, if you were to take it, there will be considerations of businesses that come in the way of making that big film with a big social cause. You'll be able to make a small film with a big social cause. You'll be able to put in a small bit of a social cause in a big film. But I think to marry the two in an ideal way is a little difficult, to be very honest. But having said that, yeah, I mean, the smaller niche cinema, which is appealing, which is growing in India, and I've been seeing some of it lately, I think all of us should participate in it. We all try to, time and again. But I'm being very honest. It may sound wrong, but you know, the considerations, if I want to make a film, I need to make a film first which makes the business so I can make the film that I want to. Even as an actor, my issues are that. I would love to be doing a Fan or a Rais, but I have to do a Dilwale and Happy New Year to be able to produce those films. And I'm not making an excuse for making any of those films. I love those films too. So you have to keep a balance, at least at the stage and status that I've reached, you know, that you need to get the monies, you don't borrow it from anyone, and make the socially relevant film or a film which says a little more or a little different than a regular commercial film.
Hi Shahrukh, I'm Marja Salim from BBC Radio Scotland. I did have a couple of small questions for you. The first one is, what values and principles do you incorporate into your life on a daily basis?
What values and?
What values and principles do you incorporate into your life on a daily basis?
You know, most of them I'm going to say it in my speech. But I've got very simple set of values. I try in a day not to hurt other people through my actions or inactions. I try to keep things very, very simple, and I don't try to step on people's toes. The other thing is, I don't know if it's a value or not, I have the ability to tell myself I don't know a lot. And so I get to sort of learn a little more. I like the value of wanting to learn more, and that you can only do if you believe you don't know enough. If you know enough, whether it's in my field of acting or any other field. These 2-3 things I follow, and in terms of physical aspects, I'm not good. I don't sleep well, I don't eat well, and I have too much coffee. Those are values that should not be followed at all.
Hi, it's Gabriella Swirling from The Times. A parliamentary inquiry was recently told that the Scottish film industry was in a disgraceful and unacceptable state because so little was being filmed here and lots of efforts are concentrated in London. I was wondering what you thought of the Scottish film industry and what Bollywood can teach it.
To be really honest, I wouldn't know it in so much depth. You know, that there's been inquiry and what status it is in. I mean, for all we know, it could be in a better status than the Bollywood film industry. But that's another story. What I could say is, you know, the bottom line is that unless you have a star system, and I'm talking for local films, I'm not talking about people coming from outside and just shooting. That I just answered, that you just have to create a production team here or production facilities here, location management here, which will be appealing to everyone. You know, that's what you do when you land in a new country or city. Your main thing is, who's going to help us get all the permissions for the places that we want to shoot? And of course, there are going to be some places where you can't shoot. But is there a way to make these things easier for people coming from outside? But for a local film industry, I think the bottom line, and I could be oversimplifying this, but I think the bottom line is there needs to be a star system. I'm not someone who's padding for stars being there just because I'm a star. Unless there is a star system amidst directors and producers and actors and actresses, the interest level of making films starts to fall down. And you'd see it all over the world. Wherever there is a star system in the film industry thrives. So this is for the local film industry. I guess there has to be, I'm sure there's local television, and you have stars on local television. You have film stars, of course. And fortunately, unfortunately, a lot of people move away from the local film industry, join Hollywood. The reason I think India has survived or continued is because our local audience is big enough for us not to really move out. Even if you want to break out, you know, you do a film outside and come back, but basically you make Hindi or Indian films. So unless that kind of stuff happens, I don't know the local film industry will thrive or not. And sorry, I wouldn't know the condition of, unless a lot of films are shot in a place, you can't really improve the lot of filmmaking in a country.
Do you mean a star system in terms of having star quality actors?
Actors, producers, directors, not for competition, but it just invokes interests of people. It's like a football match, you know. So you watch an English Premiership League because there's stars in it. I mean, the quality of football would be as good anywhere else in Europe too, maybe. But the star system keeps the audience interest alive. And if the audience interest is alive in an art form or a commercial art form, more people come to see it. And it's just the way of how audience is attracted. So I think that system has to come into place, and it happens naturally. You know, when there are enough jobs for actors or producers or directors, you know, I'll stop anything to see a next James Cameron film or an Almodovar film. So they are stars in their own rights. So they invoke interest of the audience.
Very sorry, we'll have to make this the last question. You can get it.
What was it like to work with Myra Khan, and can Indian and Pakistani actors working together help Indo-Pak relations?
Oh, it's fantastic to work with Myra. She's beautiful, she's fantastic, and she has a very different style of acting. The reason we took her in the film was we wanted it to be very different as far as the leading lady was concerned, and she brings that to the table and much more. And soft-spoken, very gentle, very sweet. I think it's a pleasure to have worked with her. And we still have some days to go. You know, I think what we should look at more is that whenever we have issues between Indo and Pak, rightly or wrongly so, what should not get affected is the sports and art. But if you think it's going to go from the other way, I think it's silly to believe that because we work together artistically or we play games together, we're going to change the relationship. No, it's the other way around. And even if we are, if there are tense moments because of the border issues or the army issues or whatever, I don't think it should affect the art and sports part of it. I mean, that's the least that can happen. But the other way around, if you're saying just because we play a bit of cricket together, we become friends at a political level, no, at a political level, it'll have to be solved politically. It's much deeper than just playing games and singing songs together. But my request, my hope is always, I think artists don't belong to a region. You know, when you hear a singer or a performer or a sports person, they belong to the world. So whenever there are issues, not only between India and Pakistan, I'm saying anywhere else also, I think the arts and the sports should be kind of allowed to thrive because, you know, wherever you go, Indians love you, the Pakistanis love you. There's no difference in approach towards an artist or a sportsman all over the world. So I don't think those things are, I mean, I can assure you, race is not going to change Indo-Pak relationships, no. But I think the other things, it should not be affected. It's unfortunate when sports and art gets affected because of political issues between countries.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thanks a lot. Have a good evening. Good to see you. You been well?